David Barrett here, and we're at the Treehouse Bunkie in Ravenswood, which is a beautiful countryside estate, and where we're doing my yearly guitar workshop. And I'm here to show you all this great new gear I've got from Pigtronix, as well as the Mack amps. I typically use the two big ones in a stereo setting and have the little Mack gem for drier sounds that I can kind of dial in when I want to clean things up a little bit. So I'm going to kind of go through the Pigtronix stuff one by one and show you not so much all the capabilities, because they really do a lot of different things. They kind of have traditional effects, and there's always little twists. So I'm going to try and explain to you how I kind of have them set up. So here we go. I'm going to talk about the first kind of what sounds like a not very interesting pedal is actually really wicked. It's a Class A boost, does about 20 or so dB, and it'll take a typical amp like these guys. It basically just have one volume stage, and you kind of have a setting that sounds something like this. And what we can do, we just take it and we just boost it and squash it, and it kind of sounds beefier, fatter, and brings on some really cool characteristics to basically an unaffected sound. Now I think that's pretty cool. And all I'm doing is I'm kind of boosting it like, I don't know, 15 dB or something, and it brings out all these tonal things and extra gain on the amps, and it's also manageable with a hollow body. I can actually bizarrely control feedback standing this close, and I mean that's really handy live. You can imagine it's pretty loud in here too, and it's really effective. The next thing we've got is in the chain is the Philosophers Rock, which is basically a compressor that also adds grit. And the way I like to do it, I like to, pretty healthy amount, and it just beefs up the sound, compresses it, adds distortion, and makes your leads way beefy. So you get something like this. So. So that's what that one does, and it's just great for sustain, great for feedback. And I have a Fat Drive, which is a great distortion pedal that does exactly what it says it is. It fattens up the sound. So I just have a little bit of distortion going, so it's kind of like this. Just fattens up the sound, great for rhythm sounds. And then I can mix and match these little guys and kind of combine them to get more extreme gain, more crazy, wilder sounds. So if I use the Fat Drive in conjunction with the compressor, just, So we'll move on to a couple other things. So next in the chain is the Philosopher King, which is similar to the series of Philosopher pedals they have. Does similar functions in terms of adding grit and compression, but I can also control the attack and the decay, so I can create backward sounds, swelling type automatic volume pedal sounds. So it's really pretty cool for some of the more out there sounds. So that's what that one does. And moving on to the envelope phaser. And it's got two primary functions that are really killer. You can have a phase shifter sound that's kind of pretty extreme or pretty subtle. I kind of set it typically like a... And the other cool function it does is the envelope follower for pretty great things like you can control the attack how it rises, or the wah sound will start at the top of the spectrum and go down, or vice versa. Good for leads, stuff like and then you can combine them as well. So that's a great, one of my favorite pedals. Moving on to the Trembelope. You can speed up, slow down, depending on the dynamics of the guitar. So we have things like this. And that's, depending on how hard I hit, If I play softer, we're going to have way less rate. So that's a great feature. Here's the Ecolution, which is a pretty awesome delay that does all kinds of features. Analog sounds, some longer digital capabilities. And I kind of have it set like a vintage kind of analog delay, something like this. And of course, if I want, I can take it off that setting and go to a tap setting for much longer delays. So just really versatile, amazing sounding delay. The Mothership is a really interesting pedal. It's basically an analog synthesizer. And the way I like to use it is I can turn it on and just have a unison synth sound, and I blend in the sound of the guitar. So all we're hearing is the one pedal right now on the one setting. And then I add in a ring modulator at an octave up and you get this kind of sound. And a sub bass happens. It's also got a separate out if I want to, but so the monsterish type sound turns into this. And what brings us to the last thing in the chain, or one of the last things in the chain, is the Keymaster, which is an amazing signal effects mix. Well, they call it a studio effects mixer, but basically I can create additional external effects. If I want to run a line out of this, I can turn on 2 different loops of effects and turn them on and off with just one switch. Really amazing. Or I can run, in this case, I'm using it to turn on the middle amp on and off with just a clean buffered signal. It's just amazing. So if I want to, this guy can come and go, and it's really effective for live, and it sounds like an additional guitar player. Really, really neat. Okay, thanks for watching, and thanks to Pigtronix. The gear is great stuff, and check it out online, and check out the gear and pictures on the David Barrett Trio site. Thanks very much.